This is aimed at the guys who have been successful in the heats moving forward towards the Aeronautical Engineering Avionic National Final. It's a preparation video to hopefully give you some ideas about what to prepare for. I myself am Johnny Jones. I'm the National Competition Manager, and I want to just say congratulations on getting to this stage.
Hi, I'm Martin Yates. I'm the WorldSkills International Training Manager for Aircraft, and like Jonah says, fantastically well done for getting through the heats, and I look forward to seeing you at the national finals.
So we need to give you a little bit of an overview of what's going to be expected of you and what skills will be tested at the skills show later this year. You will need to have a good aeronautical knowledge. It is aimed for aircraft engineers, so it's always good that you are an aircraft engineer. You will need to understand the principles, the functions, and a knowledge about how we generate power for the aircraft. And within that, you'll be able to need to diagnose and work out any electrical faults that may be required, be that a generator or a motor. Understanding the diagnostic techniques is something you'll need to concentrate on for a lot of the tasks, because there's also electronic fault finding. We need to understand you have the capabilities to work through and find faults and then conclude by fixing the faults. There's also a pre-flight inspection where you'll need to do a walk around an aircraft and report any problems or snags, as they're known as. And underpinning all of this will be your need to understand the standard wiring practices. And obviously, knowledge of that is very, very important. What the actual tests will include at the actual competition. There'll be an aircraft wiring repair where you'll find a fault with a wire. You'll need to repair it or replace it. There'll be a daily inspection. And often we get asked, what sort of platform will the aircraft be? On this particular instance, it is a helicopter. But please don't let that scare you, because it's the actual art and the method that you go about carrying out your pre-flight that's the important bit. It could be any aircraft. If you look at how you work through a procedure starting at point A to point B to point C, so on and so forth, that's what you need to be concentrating on. Do not worry about what type of aircraft it is. You also need to be able to work through to block schematic diagram level with some of the diagrams that you'll be given. You need to be able to look at a circuit diagram, follow it through, work out where the problems could be and how you go about solving it. There's also an integrated avionic system that you'll need to look at and be able to work through any faults that may be within it. And then one of the final tasks will be a removal and replacement of an electrical wiring loop. And that's a simulated aircraft environment with all the various expected aircraft items that you'll need to take on board.
Okay, so you're probably thinking by now, wow, that's a lot of stuff to learn, and that's a lot of stuff to be tested on within a competition environment, and I can fully understand that. So here's some thoughts then on how to prepare. Now, firstly, all of those you've successfully got through to nationals, Centre are going to send you a booklet electronically, and the booklet has been produced based on a number of years' experience, and it's got a lot of good information, and it's called a competitor manual. So have a good read of that. Look at some of the aspects within it, and it will cover some pre-training thoughts to help you get ready for the nationals. A couple of thoughts from myself is when you get to read the competition brief. Every test project, every task you do will have a written brief, so you'll get to read that. Read it twice. The first time you read it, you'll be nervous, that's understandable, you'll be excited, and the first time you read it, you'll just glance over it and you won't understand really what it's trying to say. So force yourself to go for that second read, and that will give you a chance to calm down, it'll give you a chance to manage your nerves, and on that second read you'll start to absorb the information of what that competition brief is all about. And of course you can ask the judges questions equally at that point. Again, before you come to the skills show, before you come to the nationals, get online, go to the WorldSkillsUK.org or the WorldSkills Centre site and have a good read of the competition rules so that you understand what's expected of you and what things are likely to occur. That way you won't be firefighting when those rules come in. You will understand them prior to the actual skills show. Of course, as you already know, all the test projects, all the tasks are against the clock. You're allocated so much time to do it. And you've already experienced that's quite a difficult thing to do. So practice now, between now and the competition at the skills show, about managing your time efficiently. Start to do a task against the clock. Get your supervisor, your line manager, your college lecturer to give you feedback on how you did on that time. Everything that you do within the competition will be marked. Everything will be worth marks from the moment you start to the moment you finish. So you may find that you think you're running out of time. That's fine. Move on to the next part of the test project. Again, all those tips are available within the SEMPTA produced competition manual that's going to come to you. And of course, finally, it's important that you arrive at the competition in good time. You don't want to arrive there with minutes to go. You want to arrive there nice and relaxed, give you time to adjust to what's happening at the competition, both on the first day when you do familiarisation, and you're able to get and look around at the test projects and see the layout of the competition stand, but also for every day. Arrive in good time, fresh, good night's sleep, ready for that particular day. Okay, I'll hand you back to Jonah.
Of course, you may be thinking, is all the training got to be done by myself or by your workplace? That's not quite true. There is training provided prior to the actual competition, and the centre will be in contact with you regarding that. As you can see, there are the contact details. There's myself at the top, and obviously the centre website and the WorldSkills website all have phone numbers. So what are the benefits? Let's think about this. Let's think about the benefits. What are you going to gain out of it? You're going to raise your profile within your organisation and within other such items and other such people. It's going to give you a chance to showcase your talent and your technical ability, along with showing how good your hand skills are. It gives you a chance to develop your opportunities through technical advice and training that you'll receive beforehand and during, because you never stop learning. And therefore, you get information from multinational companies. Don't waste that opportunity. Take it on board. It gives you the opportunity to celebrate your achievements. You're aiming for gold. Why don't you get a gold? There is an award ceremony at the end, and let's celebrate your achievements. And of course, it's an opportunity to benchmark your skills against peers of similar age groups from other regions within the UK.
Okay, so Jonah's talked about the benefits for competitors and he's raised some very, very good points there. But equally, of course, there are benefits for organisations, whether it's a college or an employer, whether it's national or international. And as you can imagine, if you put yourself in your boss's shoes, your director's shoes, your chief exec's shoes, think how your organisation's profile is now being expanded as you represent them at the competition. And of course, they will be quite rightly proud of that, and they will celebrate your success at getting there, your success at getting a medal, and that will build their reputation as a responsible employer. And that's what employers want to be. They want to be seen as successful, they want to be seen as competitive within the commercial world, and they want to be seen as responsible employers. So these are fantastic benefits for the organisation with you taking part. Equally, as you come back from your competition, you'll have new skills, both mentally and physically, and you'll be massively energized. You'll have loads of energy, loads of motivation, and that will very quickly be shared with your immediate colleagues and then across the wider team within the organisation. So the organisation will grow and benefit from your involvement.
And these experiences are not just kept to within the work area, it'll help the rest of your staff as well. You may have had one person compete, that person will then share his experience with your other staff. Perhaps they might want to have the experience the following year. So it'll increase the employability and it'll increase the belief that, I can do this. It also provides opportunities for development within the technical and, more importantly, some of the personal skills that are often overlooked. The individual might be able to talk at a higher level and to more people with more value than what he had previous to going to the WorldSkills competitions. Obviously, that then will help the workforce development, and that in itself will instill pride, a sense of achievement, and therefore raise the aspirations to be the best and continue being the best.
Okay, so here's an example of some typical questions that we've been presented, both through webinar, through emails and through direct contact with the competitors. So Joan, would you like to take the first question?
As I mentioned earlier during this webinar, there is training offered prior to the final, and that training will hone in your skills, and it will also allow you to develop yourself and understanding of yourself.
Do you need to organise your own travel? Well, you do need to organise your own travel, whether that's by your car or whether your college lecturer brings you down or by train. However, you will get reimbursed for your travel expenses. So reasonable travel expenses will be covered by the competition organising partner, SEMTA. So you don't need to worry about that. But of course, it's important that you do prepare both in terms of your transport, but equally any personal protective equipment you need to have, your safety glasses, safety shoes, air defenders, all the things that you would have in the workplace. And this is all part of you preparing and travelling to the competition site.
Question was also, is there accommodation provided for the final? Yes, of course there is. Your food and accommodation will all be taken care of once you arrive on site, and you get a dinner at your accommodation, and food throughout the day will be provided for you, and there will be breaks where you can go and get a hot drink and so on and so forth. So yes, it is provided for you.
Sometimes you get asked, what happens after the skills show? What happens after the Aeronautical Avionic competition? Well, currently, at this moment in time, this is where your success, your gold medal, your silver medal, your bronze medal, fantastic, but this is where your journey will stop at the moment. Internationally, avionics is not competed. That may change in the future, but where we are at the moment, it stops at this point. However, let's not detract anything from the success and energy that is gained by doing the national. And indeed, after it, you may well find there's lots of publicity will come your way, come your college's way, come your employer's way. Interviews will take place with the successful gold medal winners. Interviews will take place and will go on to various photos, YouTube, etc., etc. But in terms of competition, at this moment, it doesn't go to the international stage.
That's not to say you shouldn't embrace this journey that you're now on, this journey that you've started. You've done successfully, brilliantly, to get as far as you're going now. The next stage is the fear, the nerves, and all the other things. And that's where you need to start practicing now. Why am I nervous? Start questioning yourself. How can I control it? You can do so many things in preparation for the skills show, but also the training will come your way. I just think that you just really should embrace the whole experience. It's something that you don't very often hear about, and some people never get a chance to get there because they haven't been successful through the heats. You have been successful. So embrace it, enjoy it, and just drown in the experience that is coming your way.
Those are good points, Jonah. And just picking up on some of the things Jonah said there, we sometimes get asked, what do I actually expect when I arrive at the skills show, when I arrive at the competition? And of course, if you've not been to the skills show environment before, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the size. It's a massive show, competing across all vocational skills within the UK sector. And typically, there may be a footfall of somewhere around 75,000 people visiting through those halls as you're competing over the 3-day period. However, what does that mean for you? Well, what it means for you is lots of things. And as Jonas said, now is a good time to start that practice. So do some tasks at your college or at your work, and if time permits, if it's possible, and I mentioned before, get your lecturer or your line manager, supervisor to watch you. Perhaps get your colleagues to watch you. Perhaps get your college to take some pictures of you with their iPhones. All these things will happen at the skills show. People will be watching. They'll be genuinely interested into what you're doing. So don't let that phase you. That's about your mental preparation. That's about getting into what we call the zone, where you're massively focused on the task and not distracted then from what's going on outside. So the skills show, tremendous experience, as Jonas said, very, very busy. But you know what? Once you start those test projects, it's as if you're just there and there's nobody else watching. You completely get in the zone and focus on that test project. When you're not competing, yes, have a look around. You know, get your friends down, get your parents down. You won't get a better opportunity to see what vocational skills they could get into if they're still thinking of a career in their last years of school or college. Now I see that Jonah's just had some questions come in, so I'm going to let Jonah talk now.
So you've very wisely been told a lot of things about what to expect. Here's one that you may not realise, that at the closing ceremony, we'd love to see you there and we'd love to see you celebrating whoever wins. And of course, there's a little bit of a party afterwards. It's because you work hard, you've performed, and you've done the very best you can within your skills. Some guys will obviously be unsuccessful, but they should still celebrate, and we encourage you all to stay for the Saturday evening where the awards are given out, and then afterwards there's a bit of a party to stay together and just relax. That's always good as well. We can confirm that your friends and your families can come to the closing ceremonies. They do get a ticket free of charge. You just need to request it, and that's via Centre and or the Skills Show website. If you want to talk about the arrival.
Yes, certainly. So you will arrive, if you like, at the Skills Show area at the NEC on the Wednesday. Clearly, you need to book into the hotel that's been booked for you and paid for you, by the way. And then you'll come across to the skills stand. You'll be met by various staff within the skills show. They'll point you in the direction of the one you need to look at, which of course is Aeronautical. There you'll see Jonah and I, and you'll see the other judges. And this is about the familiarisation. So we'll go through, of course, the mandatory health and safety. We'll show you where the competitor's room is. We'll show you where your lockers are, where you can put secure storage for your kit. We'll go through all that type of process. And basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to relax you and get those nerves to settle so that when you get shown around the stand where all those test projects are, you're able to interact with the judges, you're able to ask questions. You can ask the judge any question you like. But if you ask a question of the judge which is starting to get into exactly what is required for that test project, then the judge might say, I'm sorry, I can't answer that because that's giving too much away. But other than that, you ask what questions you want, get to understand the skill stand, understand where the health and safety, the COSH, the POL, all those products that go with your normal day-to-day work. Because effectively, that area is now going to be your place of work for 3 days. So it's trying to see how that compares to where you work normally, and get you comfortable within that area, so that when you come back on the next day ready to start the competition, at least you've got past that stage and you're familiar and understanding where the aspects are within the skill area itself, and then you can start from the timetable which Jonah will go through at the actual competition, and you know which particular test project is yours to do first of all. Jonah.
And that really sort of concludes our time with you on this video, but hopefully it's been of help to you. And if you have further questions afterwards, you know the contacts, they were within. Just call or email, and we'll get back to you. Once again, thank you very, very much for taking part, watching this, and hopefully it's been helpful.